Let's get into it, man. Nobody gonna fucking talk about it. I'm talking about it, nigga. Your ego. Your motherfucking ego is fucking your life up, brother. I'm letting you guys know. See, the biggest issue when it comes to guys, the biggest hurdle you're gonna face in your life is not money, not your physical fitness, it's not your mouthpiece in your game. It's not like being charismatic and all this shit. No, it's your fucking ego, man. Guys, young niggas' ego. My God. And now it's starting to translate even to the old niggas. Even the old niggas got these crazy egos. Your ego is holding you back from all the fucking blessings and success that you can ever obtain in this life. And it's so simple because the problem is, man, so many guys think so highly of themselves that they don't think that they have room for improvement. They don't think that there's something else they can do to be better as a man. And one of the things you understand about being a man, and you kind of grow and learn this, manhood is a very lonely journey and a very long journey, and it's a never ending journey. As long as you're drawing breath, there's always something you can do to better yourself in this world, to become more valuable, to provide more value to more people. It never stops. It's a continuous climb up a ever ending mountain that you'll never get to the top. And that's what you have to understand about manhood. But too often guys get a little bit higher than like their maybe high school class, college people, their colleagues at a job. And they think they arrived. They made it. I hit $1 million liquid. I'm now the man. And you can't be told shit. You don't think that anybody can make you better. You think you're above everybody else. And listen, that's a recipe for disaster. It's a straight recipe for disaster. As a man, you have to understand. You need to humble yourself. And I'm not saying be like meek and like, oh man, I'm not downplay your accomplishment. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying as a man, you have to understand that there's always work to be done. Always work to be done. And I'm not talking about just making money. I'm not talking about fucking getting in better shape, getting more ripped. I'm talking about in here, mentally. There's always something that you need to accomplish and get better at. There's always room for improvement. No matter how small or incremental, there's always room for improvement. And the only way that you can understand that there's always room for improvement is if you drop the ego. But the problem is so many guys, they allow like social media, they allow girls, they allow their fucking fake friends to hype them up and build them into something that they're not really what they are. Like, you're not this glorious, great king of anything. Even if you are a king, you're still just a guy. You piss, you shit, you sleep, you fucking eat, you fart, you burp, you do everything else a fucking other human being does. And you have to keep that like calming grounding to prevent yourself from developing like this god complex. Because what a lot of guys end up doing is once they think they arrive at a certain place, they think they're gods at some point. And what you got to begin to understand is like you're not God. You're a fucking man. You got a finite period of time that you will exist. You're culpable of being, you're susceptible of like losing a leg, losing a limb. You're susceptible to disease. You can die. You're not any different than the fucking beggar that's sitting on the side of the road. At the end of the day, all man is common in death. We all share the same fucking fate. So whether you be the richest guy in the world that has the most power, you're the king and all this other shit, or you're just the common beggar on the street, you and him, you guys are gonna end up in the same place, in the fucking ground, in the grave, dead. And all the things that you accomplished, everything that you did will be forgotten. It'll be forgotten in time. There's been many great kings that have existed throughout time. Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, just pretty much just so many different names. Epaphroditus, Xerxes, all these different kings that exist. But guess what? Where are they now? In the ground, dead, just like anybody else. And does anybody give a fuck about Xerxes? Not really. No. And so you need to keep that like in your mind to understand you're just a man, brother. So enjoy the simple things in life. Build a family. Try to make some money. Have great memories. Do everything you can to be successful and enjoy that life is what it is. And stop trying to think that you're greater than fucking life. You're not greater than life. Nobody gives a shit. Michael Jackson was the king of pop, and guess what? Michael Jackson's dead. Nobody gives a shit. Same thing with Prince. Prince was the fucking man. The artist formerly known as Prince. He's dead. Nobody gives a shit. You will die, and eventually over time, you will be forgotten, and nobody will give a shit. And that should humble you. And it should also free you. It should free you from your ego, because once you know that death is inevitable, you will eventually pass on and not be here anymore. It kind of lets you know, like, hey, look, man, maybe I just should like slow my fucking my ego down. Like, I'm out of whack. It's out of whack. So I'm gonna give you 5 ways to pretty much gauge to see if your ego's fucking out of control. And the first thing you need to understand if your ego's out of control is you don't listen. I talk to so many young guys and they fucking cut me off when I'm talking to them. They try to tell me about what they think and their worldview. I'm like, motherfucker, you 18, nigga. I'm 30 something. Bro, stop telling me shit. I don't give a fuck what you think. You don't have any fucking say-so. You're outranked. It's like a fucking common soldier trying to tell a general something. The general's looking at this nigga like, bro, are you fucking stupid? I'm the general. I run the whole army. You're just a small little minuscule ant within the greater scheme of this entire army. And one of the things that happens with guys that have really, really big egos is that they think that people give a fuck what they're saying. And let me tell you something. The guy who talks the least in the room is the guy who has the most power because everybody wants to know what he's saying. And one of the things I started learning when I started being in meetings and boardrooms, I don't say anything. I just sit there. I just listen. And guess what? At the end of that meeting, they always ask, hey, Apex, what do you think? I'm like, it's interesting. I'll write a report. Your words should be limited as a man because your words should be they should mean something because you've done so much work. You have such a gravity of wisdom, such an aura around you that people want to hear what you have to say. So when you speak, it means something. It has power. It has weight. So if you got all this power and weight on your words, you should be very careful and select on how you choose to use your words. And what I find with a lot of people that got crazy egos, they think everybody wants to hear them talk. And so you hear this guy go, blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, dude, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. What are you talking about, nigga? And so what you start to realize is if you want to lower your ego, you need to start being quiet and listening. One of the things I started practicing, especially like the last year and a half, is that I wait 2 to 5 seconds after somebody finishes talking before I respond. So you'll be talking to me, and I'll sit there and listen. I'll go. And you know what? Sometimes what people always do? Are you listening? What's going on? I'm like, yeah, I'm listening. I'm just waiting for you to finish. I'll make sure you got your thoughts and everything out. They're like, oh, well, yeah, what do you got to say? And that's the magic words. You know you're powerful in life when somebody tells you, like, what do you have to say? What do you think about this? That's when you know you kind of reach this level where you dropped your ego because you're willing to listen. Not listen to fucking repeat or listen to argue, but listen to understand. Because wise men who drop the ego understand that there's something to be learned when they listen to people. So you should not be cutting people off. If you're cutting people off and people are trying to talk and you cut them off, your ego's out of whack because you think what you have to say is more important. So you got to learn how to stop that, young people. That's killing you in the fucking game. Number 2, to know that you have a large ego is you expect quick results. One of the telltale traits of somebody whose ego is fucking out of whack is that they think they should just get automatically anything they fucking desire because they did a little bit of work. No, brother. Time is slow. See, let me tell you something about this. A tree, if you look at a tree that is strong and stable and it's been there for years and years, started off as a little sapling. It got into the ground. It started to grow. It went through a bunch of weathers and storms, rain, all types of shit. And it grows into this huge monstrous tree. But it didn't happen in a year. It didn't happen in 2 years. Sometimes it takes sometimes it takes decades, a century, for that tree to get stable, nice and tight and hard, where it can be a giant fucking, like a redwood fucking tree. And so as a man, one of the things you start to realize about like guys that expect quick results, they're trying to always get it now. Their ego's too whack because they don't have patience. See, the lower somebody's patience is, the bigger their ego. All men that have suppressed the ego have patience because they know nothing great is built overnight. It takes time. Time is undefeated. But a great man who suppresses ego understands if I keep doing the right thing every day, I show up, I participate, I try my best, and I do what I can do to the best of my abilities, good things will happen. I don't need to get it today. I don't need to get it tomorrow. I don't need to get it next week. I just got to keep doing the right thing, and eventually it will grow and turn to what I desire. And that's a huge aspect of developing yourself as a man. Because you gotta drop the ego. Because the ego will tell you you work 12 hours a day. You deserve to fucking have $1 million. No, brother. No, that's not how the game works. It's slow. Slow and steady wins the race. But when your ego is so fucking big, you're always rushing to get to something. Always rushing. And what you realize is you're rushing towards nowhere. You're going to end up in the same spot, but you just wasted a bunch of energy. So don't be in such a rush. Don't expect quick results. Relax. Just do the right things, put the right inputs, and life will work out for you in the way it should. Number three, telltale sign you got a terrible ego is you have terrible relationships with women. Oh my God. If your ego is fucking out of whack, your relationship with women is horrendous. You never have a great relationship with women. And you know why? Because women prey upon guys with big egos. Because they know they can just get you by just like blowing your head up. Because you're so into yourself. You're so like, I'm the guy. I'm the masculine guy. She knows, I can play this guy like a fiddle. All I got to do is just play to his ego. And as long as I play to his ego, he's going to give me whatever I want. And so what you start to realize is that they do that. They make, oh, you're the big bad man and all this other stuff. And you're like, yeah, that's right. I'm right. And then she just plays you like a fiddle. Because listen, women only have two real weapons against you when it comes to like relationships. It's sex and then inflating your ego. She knows if I can inflate his ego or if I can give him sex, one of the two, I'll get whatever the fuck I want to get out of him. Because he's egotistical. He thinks that he's better than what he really is. But that's not how the game works. You got to understand. Your ego only fucking holds you back. You got to drop the ego and you look at yourself like a common man. You look at your wife like your girlfriend or whatever the fuck you're dating. And as long as you can maintain a realistic look at yourself and stay grounded and realize, man, I should sleep and eat just like the next man across the street. I'm no special, no better than anybody fucking else on this planet. She will fucking recognize that and say, oh, I can't get him with an ego. I got to really try to like put work in. I got to show him what I'm really about. And see, women love a guy who can drop the ego. Because women have vanity. They're super vain. They're super fucking vain. So women live in vanity. So you can't have a nigga who has super ego and a woman that has super vanity. It's going to clash. It's going to fucking always be hitting. You're always going to have fights about stupid shit because you think you're always right because you're the fucking man. And she thinks she's all right because she's the woman and she knows better. And you guys are just going to clash heads. So if you're always having terrible relationships with women, chances are your ego is fucking outrageous. It's out of control. So you got to fix that. Fix it. And also go check the Apex defensive playbook to understand better how to deal with women on that end. Because most of you niggas are playing defense against your girls. So I'm just letting you know. Number 4. To know that your ego is out of whack. People avoid working with you. Nobody wants to work with the egotistical monster. Nobody wants to work with that guy. Because that guy is just he's a headache. He's a fucking pain in the ass. He just argues. He fights. He's always right. He doesn't compromise. And when he doesn't compromise, he's not even doing all the work. So he thinks everybody else should be doing all the work and he gets all the credit. Nobody wants to work with that type of guy. Nobody. So if you find that like top flight people don't want to work in your organization or people don't want to partner with you, chances are your ego is too crazy. They're just like, dude, it's not worth the headache. Like, yeah, he might pay me more, but dude, it's not even worth the headache of dealing with this guy. And a lot of you guys got to really pick up on that. But the problem is your ego's too big. So you're like, man, fuck him. I don't need him. I'll do it myself. And then you try to do it yourself. You crash out and burn and you blame other people. And that kind of goes to the last one, which is number 5. You always have excuses why things don't turn out in your favor. One of the telltale signs of somebody whose ego is out of fucking whack is that they always got a reason for why shit didn't go right that was not themselves. They don't ever take accountability that maybe my behavior, how I treat people, how I talk, how I interact with the environment is the reason why people just don't want to deal with me. But their ego's so out of whack, they think, oh, well, something's wrong with them. They got an issue. I don't have a problem. They have an issue. And that's a telltale sign of somebody whose ego is just boom. Because you can't sit back and watch yourself from a third person and really understand, like, okay, maybe Mike doesn't want to work with me because maybe, like, I'm just an asshole. Like, I'm always demanding. I'm always telling things, but I don't compensate. I don't do any work. I don't give really clear directions. I just expect them to know. Because one of the other things about the egotistical people is that they think the world, like, revolves around them. They think everything is, like, according to them and their fucking beliefs and systems. And what they don't understand is like, dude, you have to communicate clearly what your expectations are, what you think it should be, and pretty much really put it out there like, look, I want to succeed. You're as valuable to the team as I am valuable to the team. So if we're both as valuable to the team, we need to both be able to collaborate and talk and be open and have honest discussions about what's going wrong. But sometimes when the guys, when their egos is too out of whack, they can't process that. They can't fathom that maybe that they're the problem and everybody else is kind of just reacting to them being a problem. And so anyway, that's my spiel for the day, man. You gotta fix your ego, especially these young guys. I talk to so many young guys, and they talk to me like they deserve my time, and like I should be telling, like I have to listen to what they have to say. I'm like, bro, you came to me. I didn't come to you. You came to me asking questions, trying to figure things out. Why the fuck are you talking more to me? I asked the questions. You give me the answer. If I tell you your answer doesn't make no sense, there's a reason why I'm telling you this, because I'm listening to what you're telling me. It doesn't make no fucking sense. I'm not just making this up out the fucking blue. Why the fuck would I make it out the blue? It makes no sense. So anyway, appreciate you guys for listening. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Enjoy the rest of your day.